G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. I'd like to have a little bit of a talk about batteries, specifically disposable batteries versus rechargeable batteries in this BE model outdoor radio which my daughter gave to me for Christmas. Now I am used to using Duracell batteries. They are the most expensive disposable batteries in the supermarket, but they've got a really long shelf life, so you can buy them and use them 3 or 4 or 5 years down the track and they still work. And what I discovered is that 6C size Duracells only actually lasted me around about 10 days. 6C size Duracells 3 times a month means this thing was costing $72 per month for disposable batteries. That was at $24 for 6 of them. $2.40 a day, and it was suggested to me via YouTube that I should have a go at the cheapest possible disposable batteries in the supermarket, which turned out to be these Advance Plus, which was $9 for a set of 6 of them, 3 times a month, which is only $27 a month, right? Less than half the price of the Duracells. The difference is in the shelf life. If you do not use the advanced batteries within 2 years of purchasing them, they're not going to be usable at all, whereas the Duracells, 2018, good for date, manufactured in 2008. So with the Duracells, you're paying 3 times the price in order to get 5 times the shelf life. But anyway, as you can see, my response was to ask my son to locate and supply for me 2 sets of batteries, one there, and 1 set charged up, ready to go, plus a charging unit which runs on 240 volts from the 12 volt to 240 volt battery fed pyramid powered solar electric battery charger, as well as having a 12 volt input plug running from the 12 volt deep cycle storage battery, which is actually being fed by the apparent Martian fighting machine, actually the Mark I sunfoil, which used to live where the Mark III sunfoil is still earning its living, keeping the battery charged on my paddock basher and firewood carting mobile. But I digress, it could be because this is indeed a malt liquor video. Coopers, 5.8% alcohol, 1.7 standard drunks to the bottle. So anyway, being a little bit of an obsessive style of a character, I decided it would be a really good idea if I could log the actual performance data of the 2 groups of batteries from when I first charged them using the old Mark I sunfoil, and when they first went into service on my actual birthday. And we finally got to the point where even using the absolute cheapest batteries that you can buy in the supermarket as a comparison, we've got to the stage where at retail prices, rechargeable nickel-metal hydride batteries, 2 sets of, plus a charging unit, And bearing in mind, I got them wholesale at $85 for the lot. But if you were buying 12 batteries plus a charging unit retail, it would have cost you $130. We're talking 5 weeks for the charging unit to be cheaper than Duracells. That's if you're paying wholesale prices for the charging unit and the rechargeables. 7 weeks worth of use, and your Duracells have been economically outperformed by even the retail rechargeable unit. If we're putting the active El Cheapos up against getting the charging unit wholesale, we're talking 2.5 months or 10 weeks. And if we're talking the El Cheapo active batteries versus the retail price of $130 for your charging unit and a dozen batteries, and if we want to allow for about 3 weeks worth of generosity and overshoot, then we've actually hit the day. We're on the 1st of August, and in theory, the 7th of July was when the rechargeable unit had actually paid for itself. And if you think that that means that I've actually been and done and gone and logged every stop start time on the disposable batteries before I began on the rechargeable batteries, from February all the way up to now, just so that I can say to you 30 hours, 2024, 2918, 2905, 3034, 3022, 2915, 2436, 2926, 3010, 2515, 3117, 2838, 3031, 2904, 2716. And thus I can say to you, these here batteries and that there charger and these ones are ready to go in, they have paid for themselves running my radio 30 hours every 4 days. And I have to say to you that as a card-carrying mad scientist, that makes me inordinately pleased. It means that I have financed an experiment, I have documented the experiment, I've had a statistical universe of one. I've had one radio, I've had one recharger, I've had one operational outfit of batteries, 2 sets of them, but you need 2 sets in order to have an operational outfit. And what I have proved is that in the year 2015, commercial, off-the-shelf, paying retail prices for them, up against the cheapest disposable batteries you can buy in the supermarket, not the crazy prices shop or the reject barn, but in the supermarket. Rechargeables, solar-powered rechargeables, actually do, on a cost-effective basis, beat the cheapest disposables that you can come up with. So, malt liquor, let's have a drink to that. Now, the reason I'm so pleased with that is that when I first moved up here in 1994, I was possessed of a 5-year-old boy who had a bit of an aeroplane fetish because I'd been training him. And because we didn't have any television, one of the things I used to do to amuse him in the evenings was we'd fly a little electric powered model of an F-111 General Dynamics swept wing or swing wing fighter bomber. Now, sadly, I can't actually show you the model aeroplane concerned, but this is what it used to fly from. It's a swiveling anchor, which uses a bit of fishing line attached to the top of the model on its centre of gravity. And inside the model, what there is a set of batteries, and there's an electric motor at the back, and there's a fan poking out behind the scale-looking jet engines. And the idea is the string would depend from here on this movable arm. It would dangle down to roughly waist height, as you can see here. And back in the day, none of this clutter was here. So what we had was an indoor space for flying an electric rechargeable captive model aeroplane. And I say rechargeable because we were running it on a little solar powered recharging rig for AA batteries. And the trouble was the F-111 would fly for around about 6 minutes when it was brand new, or when the batteries were brand new, using rechargeables on one set of charged batteries. 6 minutes for all day. Whereas when we used the Duracells, we got 27 hours on one set of batteries. Which effectively means that 20 years ago, there was no possible way that rechargeables could ever repay their own cost before they died, compared to disposable batteries. But now, whether you're running on 12 volts or merely charging at 12 volts, storing at 12 volts, and then pulling that out through an inverter, the answer is that it takes around about 5 months for nickel-metal hydride rechargeable batteries to pay for themselves when in recorded, documented use, up against the cheapest disposables in the supermarket. And considering that I actually paid wholesale prices for mine rather than the retail, I've been getting free radio for months because I raised my son to have a sort of shop where he can sell me cheap batteries and cheap recharges. Warble's on a lot to YouTube. Progress within my lifetime. Rechargeable batteries have become cheaper than disposables when powering your equipment in real life. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. Warble's on a lot to YouTube. A mad scientist malt liquor video. Ciao.